Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here with your all stuff, no fluff news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about PlayStation 2 emulation on Android with NetherSX2 Classic and NetherSX2 Patch. And both NetherSX2 Classic and NetherSX2 Patch got brand new updates. And for those wondering the difference between the two, NetherSX2 Classic is based on AetherSX2 3668, where NetherSX2 Patch is based on AetherSX2 4248. They recommend using NetherSX2 Classic for older and less powerful devices, like Mali devices. So at the time of filming, NetherSX2 Classic and NetherSX2 Patch version 2.2N is the latest and greatest update. And this update is pretty exciting. It introduces experimental online multiplayer. So a brand new networking section has been added to system settings. And again, it's worth pointing out this is experimental. If you are interested and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links are within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. On top of that, there's a whole bunch of improvements to a whole bunch of different games. And on top of that, they've updated the controller database to be compatible with even more controllers, like the 8-bit Do Pro 3, the Ultimate 2C, and even more. And speaking about brand new updates, next up we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation with Citron. And Citron got a brand new update just in time for Christmas. Version 0.12.25 is the latest and greatest update. So in this brand new release, they say it focuses on major UI enhancements, improved update system, Android game file extraction, custom save management, and significant stability improvements across all platforms. On PC, it looks like they've revamped the setup wizard. On Android, they say this is currently a work in progress, but game file extraction, for example, ROMFS dumping support has been added. And on top of that, there's performance improvements, audio improvements, visual improvements, bug fixes, and even more. Now for game compatibility improvements, they've listed out Metroid Prime 4 specifically, saying they fixed Shadow Map Square artifacts. On top of that, better compatibility with games using advanced audio effects, improved support for games with complex texture formats, and enhanced compatibility with games using GPU-modified textures. And speaking about improvements and new versions, next up here we're talking about PlayStation 3 emulation on Android with APS3E. And APS3E just got a brand new update here at the time of filming. Version 1.35 is the latest and greatest update. Now the emulator is available on GitHub, and taking a look on Google Play, and it seems the update is also live on Google Play. And speaking about updates, next up here we're switching from emulators to emulation front ends and talking about iiSU. And iiSU has just released version 0.0.4. So taking a look at the iiSU website, and version 0.0.4 is titled the Christmas Update. This includes massive navigation improvements, a new welcome screen, and expanded emulator support. On top of that, they've introduced a new generic scraper engine for metadata fetching, new IGDB integration. There's more retro achievement support, and on top of that, they've introduced full custom theme support, backgrounds, images, and videos, and dark mode variants for custom themes. They go on to say here, this release is mainly about stability, polish, and long-term foundations. The next development cycle will continue focusing on more scraping options, single screen mode, and remaining reported issues. Now, if you wanted to see this brand new update in action, ETland XOXO has a brand new video going over this update, and again, like everything we talk about, you know where the links are. And speaking about front ends and launchers, next up here we're talking about RetroHrai, which is an Android front-end launcher for retro not-only gaming. And RetroHrai, I think that's how you pronounce it, just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 0.3.0 is the latest and greatest update. And they say this public release focuses on expanding compatibility, improving scraping data accuracy, and adding highly requested customization features. On top of that, they've added in per-game emulator overrides. There's a new view here called Grid View, and that's alongside the existing carousel and list views. There's a new modular widget system for the secondary screen for dual screen setups, and they say this will be expanded in future updates. They fixed and improved screen swap behavior. On top of that, they've added new providers, IGDB, the GamesDB, and Screen Scraper. And on top of that, they've added in support for custom wallpapers. Next up here, we're talking about Epic and Steam and GOG. And I guess during Christmas, there was a bit of an outage that caused a little bit of a problem for a number of people. From my understanding, Fortnite and stuff like that was down for about 3 hours overall. However, GOG threw a bit of shade on everyone and said, just imagine if you could play all your games fully offline on a day like this. Honestly, that's about it for this new segment. I won't drag it on, and if you did have issues, hopefully they are resolved now, and GOG I think is continuing to be pretty awesome here. And speaking about pretty awesome, next up here we're talking about Halo Zero, and if you're not familiar with Halo Zero, I don't blame you, but you should be familiar with it. It's an unofficial remake or demake of Halo for the Amiga, Mega Drive, and Neo Geo CD. And I think this thing looks frickin' amazing. It's up on itch.io. If you are interested in seeing this game in action, Saberman Retro News has you covered. Health regenerates, well, provided you don't die. And on top of that, it does kind of look like Contra a little bit. To me, this looks really, really good. I really like this implementation, and I think this is something I will be checking out. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. It is free on itch.io. Now, it is worth noting this is an early preview demo with only a single level, and I'm curious to see how far this goes, how many levels they cram in, and if this does turn into a fully fledged game. And speaking about being curious to see how far things go, next up we're talking about PlayStation 4 emulation and macOS ARM64. It's worth pointing out this is still super early on in a work in progress, but I am curious to see where this ends up going. It looks like Shad PS4 is headed to macOS ARM64 devices in the near future. Unfortunately, I don't know how good this implementation is going to be. I don't know what performance is going to be like. I don't know any of that just yet. It is a work in progress attempt to add native Apple Silicon support. They say this PR doesn't work yet, but they are looking into it. And speaking about new stuff, next up here we're talking about Star Fox 64 on PC, unofficially. And there appears to be a brand new Star Fox 64 PC recompilation that has just released. If you are interested in seeing it in action, Video Game Esoterica has you covered with a fairly detailed video. At the time of filming, Star Fox 64 Recompiled version 1.0.2 is the latest and greatest update. This one is available for Windows and Linux, and the full project is up on GitHub. And speaking about fan-made stuff, next up here we're talking about fan-made game translations. And there appear to be 3 brand new fan translations for 3 different games on 3 different systems. The first one here, this one, I might mispronounce the name, Kagayaku Kitsetsu. I might have mispronounced that one. This game is for the PS1 and is now available in English. The second one here is Macross M3, and this one is now available in English, and this game was released for the Sega Dreamcast. The third game here is still for a Sega system, but a little bit earlier on, the Sega Saturn, and the game is called Delasoba Deluxe. And this game has been translated to English as well. Next up, we're switching from older hardware to new hardware, upcoming hardware. We're talking about the upcoming PS6 and Steam Machine. And it's being talked about now that the Steam Machine may face delays due to soaring memory prices. We've talked about this in previous videos, not about delays to the Steam Machine, but delays to knowing the pricing of the Steam Machine because of those increased RAM prices. So anyways, in addition to not knowing the prices of these things, well, the PS6, I wouldn't expect we'd know the pricing anytime soon. It does seem that there will be delays in hardware releases because of the memory prices. And I think that does kind of make sense. I'm wondering if they're waiting for whatever this AI bubble is to actually pop, if it does pop. But I'm not at all surprised if they're delaying hardware releases because they can't price it to where people will be attracted to buying it. I mean, let me know your thoughts about that one, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see delays in the release date for the Steam Machine and even just hardware in general. And speaking about RAM scarcity and hardware, next up here we're talking about something I'm really not excited to see and I'm hoping is only going to be temporary. And that is stopgap solutions for turning SODIMMs into desktop memory. Obviously not at all ideal, but it does look like it kind of works. If you are interested in seeing this one in action, Hardware Canucks has you covered here with a video titled, "I Found the Secret for Cheap DDR5. Again, I would say not at all ideal, but at the same time, if someone is super desperate and needs some RAM, this might be a somewhat viable option, at least temporarily. Now, in terms of performance, for really what it's worth, it does look like performance holds up. Taking a look between the DIMM and SODIMM here, it does look like SODIMM is holding its own. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. And continuing to talk about hardware, next up we're talking about the Game Boy Advance and the Everdrive. And Krikzz has just announced the Everdrive GBA Pro, which is priced at $129 and introduces some really exciting new features. Now, it is worth noting the website does say sold out, and I'm curious to know if that's just because pre-orders aren't up yet or what exactly is going on. Anyways, they say all orders with Everdrive GBA Pro will be shipped early mid-January 2026. And they say here it's got an in-game menu, multi-save state slots, up to 98 slots per game, multiple sensor support, solar, tilt, and gyro, isolated RTC, each game has its own time copy, cheat support, built-in cheat exporter, custom menu themes, instant ROM loading, and even more. And on top of that, and I think a lot of people will be excited about this one, the Everdrive Pro supports NES, Game Boy, and Game Boy Color ROMs in emulation mode. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.